Okay, everybody, thank you very much for another Ignite Equity Capital Raising webinar. And today we are going to discuss antimony and how to get exposure, well, mostly antimony, I should say, but also rare earths and gold. But before we get to today's really discussion with Colin Locke, we just want to back up for a second and say what we are seeing at Ignite Equity and also through our sister business, 180 Markets. Well, we are pleased to say that the markets have really been moving, and especially at the small end of town, and especially, we cannot stress this enough, literally since July 1st, FY26, the market's really bidding has taken place in a level that we haven't seen now in a couple of years. We are seeing in many instances numbers coming up 5 times, 10 times what they were year over year. So it's highly encouraging to see. And it also makes a lot of economic sense because we have the commodity prices, so many of them at virtual highs when you look at the copper price, silver price, and of course the gold price. But at the same time, the number one commodity price that was moving down happens to be the input price, which is oil and fuel. And this spells a great setup for commodity investors. So with a little bit too long-winded introduction, back to today's discussion about how to get exposure to antimony. And we are joined by longtime Chairman Colin Locke of Krakatoa Resources, because KTA, as it's better known probably, has one of the largest antimony deposits and potential projects in the world. And with that, Colin, welcome.
Thanks very much. It's a pleasure to be here and address investors. Yeah. Yes, you're right. It's quite a magnificent project. I mean, it's a Soviet resource of 225,000 tons at a grade of 11.6% antimony for 26,000 tons of contained metal. And it also has high-grade gold in the vicinity of 7 million tons at 3.7 grams a ton for 825,000 ounces. And let's not forget that the magnitude of this project is quite remarkable. To obtain that resource, only 16 or 17 out of over 60 adits were investigated, sampled, and processed. So the mineralization is all in one nice long spot. It's not all over the place. It's all controlled. And it's 27 kilometres of mineralisation. So
this is huge.
Sure, there's great, there's great opportunity to massively expand that resource, and the gold hasn't even been properly looked at. This gold appears to be open in all directions as well. So that resource of 825,000 ounces, I mean, it could be in the millions of ounces quite easily.
Right. And also, when we back that up against what the current market cap is compared to what the value proposition is, extremely attractive. But Colin, just going on to antimony, obviously we know it's one of the hottest commodities out there and it really should be for the foreseeable future. But just take us into Zopkhito. People say don't compare yourselves, but everybody does compare yourself. How would this rank as far as in the top 15 projects globally?
Well, on public information, it's touted to be the 7th biggest primary antimony project on the planet. And, it certainly has the potential to be the biggest on the planet.
Right. And then also for investors that are not familiar with Georgia, that is the country of Georgia, about mining there and the pro-business government, can you just give a high-level overview, please?
Sure. Well, the good thing about Georgia, to me, the main good thing about it is its infrastructure. I mean, it's Europe. All the roads are tarred. There's rail. There's currently a company called Rich Minerals. They're an American company. They're mining copper, gold, and silver, and they're shipping the concentrates through the port of Poti in the Black Sea. So that's what I like about it, particularly compared to African countries that I've been involved in.
Right.
Where logistics is a nightmare, particularly in the wet season. You just can't move product.
Right. And Colin, this is critically important here, and it leads us to our discussion of what investors are looking for is true economic viability. It's not just creating the biggest resource out there, and especially that has really no infrastructure around it. Can you just talk to us about Krakatoa's value proposition now? Because this is something that you are very committed to. You have it firmly laid out, don't you?
Certainly. So our strategy going forward is to get a JORC enough to do an economic study. And then once that economic study's been done, we would go to mine it and then use some of the profits to expand the resource. We don't want to spend too much money drilling out the arguably or potentially the biggest project, the Antimony-Gold project in the world, and then look at mining it later. No, that's not what we're after. And it's absolutely an advanced project, even though it hasn't been drilled, and we're drilling it now. There's met testing being done, and the good thing about that met testing is that the concentrate, the antimony concentrate, can be floated off, and then the high grade gold goes to the tail. So it's not combined like a lot of other projects. This is very simple to delineate the two metals.
Right. All you metallurgists out there, you are having a field day.
To liberate the two metals. Yeah.
Exactly. Again, the key message is that this is economically viable in a tier 1 jurisdiction from a pro mining point of view. And then when you look at the antimony and the gold and what is on offer here, it really is just incredibly exciting time. Colin, you mentioned here the JORC study, the mine it, expand the resource. Can you just give us some type of timing estimates on these?
Well, we'll be drilling. We've got 2 rigs on site at the moment, and we'll be drilling right up until we can, weather permitting. And then next year we'll drill a whole lot more.
Right. And so those drilling results, when should we see them in the marketplace to you approximately?
Oh, yeah. In the coming months.
Right. So very imminently, which is always the most exciting time of year there. And from your point of view, given that there's so much there already, what should investors be on the lookout for?
Yeah, well, look, just look out for our announcements. There's going to be plenty.
Right.
We'll see if we can get some core through the ASX. We will see if we can get some visuals. That would be something to look forward to as well.
Right. Now, Krakatoa has a big value proposition because just turning a little bit around the world here, Mount Clere, can you just talk to us about that?
Yes, well, we found this big gravity anomaly, and we did that through our geophysicist, and he did a whole Australia-wide study, and in a nutshell, there were 5 in Western Australia, and 2 stood out. One of them is Stone Tank that we've just drilled, and the other one was WA1's project on a similar looking blob, if you like, looking geophysical anomaly.
That's right. And when you look at Krakatoa, again, when you look at the share price compared to what's on offer, that value proposition seems incredibly cheap, and you are very catalyst rich right now as well. Colin, we know that these days are very tight bound for you. There's a lot of discussions, a lot of interviews. But just to recap for a moment, antimony, since really, I guess a couple of years now, but especially since circa of November of 2024, that market has really taken off. And I do have a question for you, which is, are you seeing now inbound interest from internationals into the project?
We've already had offtake interest already. So these off-takers are big, and they're obviously confident that we can mine it.
Right.
And let's not forget, it's got a mining license as well. So, it's all been permitted.
That's right. Now, we are raising capital today. And for those investors want to know out there, books are looking very strong. Can I just describe to us the use of those funds?
The use of the funds are going straight into the ground to advance our drilling solely to advance our drilling at Zopkhito.
Right. So on offer, again, imminent drilling right here, right now, 7th biggest antimony project according to public data in the world. And also seems fairly simple, real true economic viability with infrastructure nearby excellent metallurgy. So all these spelling out really seem like a very, very exciting time for investors. Now, friends, we will open it up quickly to Q&A. And for those of you that I noticed some people I'm already getting on WhatsApp, you feel free to message myself or Sean as well. But why don't we start out with the chat? And I will take the first question. Krakatoa, will you be doing a share purchase plan, Colin?
Possibly, yeah, maybe. Possibly.
Okay. Possibly.
I haven't discussed it yet with the board, so.
Okay, so remains TBD, to be determined.
Thank you.
The second question, what is the maximum total placement size if you decide to take over subscriptions?
It's a total of 190 million shares.
Right. Okay, so we got that as well. And then another question I'm getting here, as far as the getting, I suppose, I'm just going to rephrase the question of this person's. Access to labor in Georgia, any issues with it?
None whatsoever. We had 30 contractors working to fix up the access road so we could get the drill rigs up there. And they also repaired a couple of bridges. They've done a beautiful job, and they've also repatriated the workers' quarters. So we had over 30 of them working up there. So no problem. No problem whatsoever.
Right. No, that's great to see. Now, another question I'm getting is project ownership. Zopkhito, can you just talk about the ownership structure?
Well, we've got an option over it, an 80% option, and we've got very good, strong partners over there with the other 20%. They're strong in financial and in government circles, so we're really, and we've been working with them really well. They're really, really good partners.
Got it. Okay, and then another question I'm getting, I think that this is, I suppose it's because it's Georgia permitting, any issues with permitting?
Not so far, none whatsoever. Not like in Australia. It's been an absolute breath of fresh air in Georgia. It's been beautiful so far.
Right, and are you also using a local partner to assist in that process as well?
Absolutely.
Right. Okay, another person's just asking here, weather patterns and activities there any time of year where you cannot conduct activities?
Yes, we can't conduct activities in our summertime.
Right.
Because of the elevation.
Right, and I imagine it's pretty cold over there.
It would be in our summertime, correct. But, I think investors are fortunate to have Mark Major, our CEO and Chief Technical Officer, he's on site now, and he's worked in much higher terrains before. And Mark and I, over the last 20 years, have had very good success for shareholders in overseas projects. We've done this before. Right.
Mark has some very thick skin, literally. Then.
Yeah, it's a beautiful jurisdiction to work in.
Right. Then access to port. Someone's asking about. A lot of questions about infrastructure, I guess. People want to know.
I think those questions are important because, to move this concentrate, we need good infrastructure. And that's the beauty about it. There's rail going very, very close to the project, going all the way to the port of Poti, where that other company that I mentioned, Rich Minerals, is already shipping concentrate out through that port. So, we're not the first mover in this case.
Right. And in some cases, it pays to be the second or third mover then, I suppose.
Well, yeah, I always draw investors' attention to Adriatic, which was the first mover in Bosnia.
Right.
That it took investors a bit of time to understand what they had. And, it was a 20-cent float IPO, and it took a while to move. And now, obviously, it's $6 something last time I looked at it, and a $2 billion.
Not too bad.
And that's the beauty about having a good project. It could go anywhere.
That's right. Well, in conclusion, Colin, you need the right project, you need the right people, and then as well, you need the infrastructure, and that is what is on offer here. So everybody, Colin, thank you so much for your time. Again, we will have a recording. If anybody has some further follow-up questions, just let us know or email into the info@igniteequity.com.au account. Colin is extremely, extremely friendly and very, very investor focused. So it will not be a problem at all to answer any of your questions. Colin, again, thank you so much. We really appreciate the opportunity to support you in the next phase of Krakatoa's journey. Thanks, Colin. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on short notice.
Great pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye.